And for live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this afternoon's writing sprint session. These sprints are in the middle of NaNoWriMo, but that certainly does not mean that you must be doing NaNoWriMo to join us today. Thank you guys so much for being here. And today we're going to have like a nice little afternoon chat. The sun is very fickle today, so the lighting is going to change. It just changed, but anyway, I have a light here so you can see my face kind of, but also if the light changes from the window and the white balance gets knocked off, sorry about that. Can't control it. But hello. Hello, Lady Neo. It's nice to see you here today. We're going to have some nice sprints. Let me put my banner up. I'm a little unprepared today, but that is not my fault because I had something to do for work earlier today. But I'm all done now, and I'm just getting my timer set up right now while people file in. But yeah, let me know what you guys are working on right now, if it's nano related or not nano related. And if you're watching the replay, let me know also. Oh, here comes the sun. Let me know what you're working on. Me, currently, I'm not really doing nano, but I am working on a book. I'm working on a 5th draft, so it's kind of like not even related to nano. Like, there's no drafting left to be done, but it's still like work on it. So that's what I'm doing for nano, but it's definitely not the traditional kind of project to work on. You know what I mean? What was I doing? Oh, I was presenting my timer. They call it present instead of share screen now, which is an interesting change. Anyway, my sponsor for today is actually Tiva shoes, because man, they are an aggressive cookie, because they have been on my. I looked at them once a week ago, and now they're everywhere. Every single specialized ad I get is for Tivas. Maybe I shouldn't even be saying Tivas. I'm just gonna keep getting ads for them. They're listening. Anyway, hello, Craft Blend. Oh, you're new? Thanks for showing up. And you're welcome for the sprints. Oh, you're working on a short story prompt. Well, tell me all about it. Is it, and also how long is it? Is it the kind of short story that you could possibly finish during the stream today, or is it more of a 5,000 to 10,000 word range story? I used to do flash fiction, and I let that playlist die on my channel because I just lost interest with it. But I had a great time writing flash fiction, and I've also written a few short stories as well. But yeah, I just don't anymore. I'm all about the novel right now. Okay, so Neo is not doing nano, but wants to finish 2 fanfics. I'd love to see it. Working chapter 7 of the dark side of the room. Oh, it's not room. It's meant to be moon. Okay, but dark side of the room is funny and does sound like a fan fiction title. If you know what I mean. It's funny. It's great. So yeah, if you guys are new here, I am working on Seaside. There's a little description about it in the description of this video, but it is a YA LGBT plus romance. It's about 2 boys who are just, figuring out how to be good people in a relationship. There are some mistakes made. This book has found family. It has, what's it called when? I think you call it second chance romance. It has that in it as well, and just like winter vibes. It's in the winter. It's called Seaside, so clearly it's on the sea. It's on a tiny island in the Outer Banks. There's a lighthouse. There's multiple cats in it. It's great. I'm working on the 5th draft, so very late stages of editing now. Okay, Craft Blends. And if you have another name, if you have another name that you'd like me to use instead of Craft Blend, please feel free to correct me. I have no problem with that. But the short story is about following a mysterious someone out of a castle. Hoping to keep it short, but we'll see. Going to plan, just kind of writing until you think it's done. That makes That's good. Like sometimes writing off vibes is just the only way to do it. uh, yeah, I keep saying yeah, and now you're not gonna notice it. You're not gonna not notice it. I've cursed you. You're welcome. So I'm currently working on Seaside, and it's a 5th draft, which means I don't have much developmental editing left to do. Although I'm still doing a little bit of that here and there, adding scenes, embellishing them, editing when I know I should just be reading instead of working on it. But alas, I am adding words. The draft is currently at 85,821, which is about 3,000 more than when I started this 5th draft, but it's okay. It needed it. There goes the sun. Oh, and here it comes back. Um, and so yeah, so I've been working on it. I've gotten past the midpoint now officially today. I was working on it like half of the midpoint I worked on last night, and then the aftermath of the midpoint I was working on today. So I have between chapters 33 and 50, I have 8 more chapters to seriously dig deep into and like update, bring up to speed, up to the writing skill of the rest of the book. So that's what I'm going to be working on today. I might get through all 8 of these chapters. I want to at least get through 3. It really depends on how focused I am and how much attention each of these chapters need. I need to work on chapters 33, 35, 36, 37, 39, 44, 45, 46, and 50, which is the final chapter, which is it really needs some work because the ending no longer resonates with the rest of the story, and that's not super good. But anyway, I will pull up this first timer. We will have a nice short little sprint. The way I do my sprints now is we do a 15, 25, 25, and then at the end we will have a randomized sprint. Just a little sneak peek of how we're going to be doing that up here, but you have to stay to the end of the stream to figure out how exactly that's going to go down. But let me pull up this 15-minute timer. It's already loaded for me. How nice. Yeah, and let me make that full screen so we don't see the ad. But I'm going to remind you guys that my timer end sound is tweeting birds, so don't be alarmed when that goes off. But I will see you in 15 minutes. Happy productivity in 3, 2, 1. Let's do this. All right. That was the end of our first 15-minute sprint. I see we have some other people joining us. Hi, Danny. I just watched your video today, so give me an update. Tell me how your beta reader feedback is going, or how you ended up coming up with your solution, if you're comfortable. But anyway, apparently you have approximately 200 index cards on your desk right now, which I'm also curious as to how you are using these to help you re-outline your project. So how are you using them, and how has it been since you posted your beta reader video? We also have, I want to say Hai or Haye. Correct me if you want me to say it differently. But yes. So how was that sprint for everyone? I was working on chapter 33. I finished. It's kind of I guess I'm line editing, kind of. It's kind of ambiguous, the kind of line editing or developmental editing I'm doing. I'm working on Seaside Draft 5. So it's pretty late stages. And it's kind of I do line editing, copy editing, and developmental editing all in one go. It's kind of difficult to describe what I'm doing, but I'm doing it. And I have I have 7 chapters left now to dive into and fix. Hello, Julia. Uh, good vibes. I think this is actually an emoji, but it's not showing up correctly. Okay, Danny's called in. Okay, you outlined it over a year ago with index cards for each chapter. And now you're taking out the ones for the chapters you're cutting, reorganizing what's left, and adding these added. This makes sense, especially especially if you already have it in a scene or chapter outline. I think it's so fun to just rearrange them and see okay, if I move this card here and then this one, then what happens? I admire people who can outline that way. I don't think I can. I just kind of write it all in one stream of consciousness. I do use Scrivener, and Scrivener has that feature where you can view your chapters as index cards, but I don't utilize that feature. I just use it for the color coding feature so I can see the balance of perspectives. Because if you didn't know, my book Seaside is a dual / sometimes tri-perspective story, but it's mostly between Luca and Julian. They have an equal split of about 42 chapters, and then this third character, Alice, she has about 8 chapters, and she is integral. She's important to the plot, but she's not directly on the romance side of things that I'm working on. And okay, so Danny's beta readers who did complete it did give them great feedback, which is great. But yeah, it sucks that it wasn't as much as you were hoping to get. Could you remind me what your project is about? I did. Oh, is it Dragons No Dragons, or is that someone else's book? Let me know. Please correct me if I'm wrong about that. But in the next sprint, we will have a little bit of a longer sprint next time, so you'll have some more time to figure that out. We're going to be having a 25-minute sprint. It's really weird writing a 5th draft because it's never clear what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm just doing what feels right, like on vibes alone. And there's no guide for, oh, you should do this in a 5th draft. It's just make it better. Good luck. Some point you should do line editing, and some point you should do copy editing. Which I can see the side of every book is different and going to require different amounts of editing and specific things that need to be edited. But it's still wild to be doing this all by myself for the first time and kind of just blindly going through the forest and hoping I make it out on the other side with a good book. It's like, no. It's like you're going into a forest and you're mapping the forest as you go, and on the other side, you want to give someone a completed map of how they can follow your footsteps the same way, but also not an ugly map, a refined map. Does this make sense? And yes, here's the sun shining down with its approval. It's a very fickle weather day today. It was raining all morning. Now it's like sunny, cloudy. It's going to rain again later today. It's because there was a tropical storm on the East Coast. I'm going to say it hit Florida and South Carolina, but I'm not in those states, so it didn't hit that bad. We just got a bunch of rain. Okay, so Danny's story isn't... Okay, so I was kind of right, but not really. So you're working on a Dark Academia story. Dragons Are Dragons is yours, but it's the one you finished drafting. Okay. And the outline is in preparation for a draft 3 of the Dark Academia story. But the middle section is going to be first. Oh, I feel that so hard. The middle is so like... The middle can suck so much of a book, especially, and I'm sorry you have to like redo it on like a third draft. Like that bites, because me like trying to figure out what the heck my story was supposed to do in the middle, like I didn't figure it out in the first draft, and I had a completely unbalanced story, and then I think, it may have been somewhere between the second and the third draft where I just was like, no, this needs to be fixed. This needs to have better balance. And I feel like I didn't stop editing chapters and plot and major events until the fourth draft. Right now, I'm just like fixing chapter endings and changing the beginning of scenes sometimes, or like adding a different emotional thread, or like changing a metaphor to make it more resonant. Just things that are like nitpicky, but still really important, but not as momentous on the plot. It's really difficult to explain that. It's just... I haven't dropped it as well in such a long time that... You know what? I feel like first draft writing is great. Feels great. Second draft feels awful. Third draft still feels awful, but now it's like, maybe I know what I'm doing now. Fourth and fifth, if I had to rate my experience on those, like 7 out of 10. Like, still pretty good. Like, we've had an improvement. I feel like there's definitely a roller coaster when it comes to writing, like, or maybe like a V. like it really sucks when you're in the middle drafting stages of a book. But like, first draft, great, you're up here. Second draft, third draft, oh my god, this is the worst thing I've ever written. Fourth draft, you know what? Maybe I can write this. Fifth draft is like, hold on, I have a book now. That's how I feel about that. There's my little soliloquy. Danny's currently pouring where you are, and I'm so happy. Well, I'm so happy for you. It was so dark this morning. That's when it was raining for me. Like, it was pouring. I thought it was 6:30 a.m., but it was 9:30 a.m. when I woke up. And hello, Caitlin. It's nice to see you. Let me know what you're working on, and if it relates to NaNoWriMo or not. I'm currently working on the 5th draft of my Seaside project, and I'm sure to repeat that many times throughout the course of this stream. But anyway, I hope you're ready to work, because we're going to have a 25-minute sprint starting very shortly. If I can remember how to properly set up my timer, which must be relearned every time I open StreamYard naturally. So we're gonna have a 25-minute sprint sponsored by Tiva, of course. And yeah, happy writing. I'm gonna see you guys in 25 minutes, starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's do this. All right, friends, that was the end of our second sprint. Let me know how you did while I fix my banner. Yes. Okay, so I see we had some people join us. Emma popped in. Oh, okay, I got it. The the comment didn't make sense to me, but I understand it now. She tapped that like button. Yeah, she might not be here anymore, but if you still are here, Emma, hello and thanks for joining. Um, Caitlin was switching between chores and writing. So at the end of every writing sprint, do one chore before you do another one. That is a really productive way to work, and I admire that. Hopefully, I give you enough time between sprints right now to do another chore. And yeah, you would have noticed you not to do the dishes, Danny. Go do them. Yeah. Oh, and Jessica popped in, uh, slapping that like button. Is currently at work. Oh, I'm sorry you weren't expecting the bird noises. I see this is your first time here, but yes, my stream ending sound is bird noises. Uh, but hopefully it's not too disturbing. The reason I use the timer that I use is because the Google timer, that sound, that beep 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 beep, like I can't stand it. It's just too like, ugh, like, you know what I mean? I get the. See, Anna is here. Hello. Yes, I did have some birds. You'll be prepared for the next sprint, however. Okay, Lady Neo finished 2 fight scenes. That's great. And one wait, so you have 3 fight scenes in this fan fiction? I'm gonna need more information on that. Also, I didn't catch what you're writing fan fiction for, so you can also call in with that information. Julie got 779 words for that one. That's a great word count for 25 minutes. Yes, right? Like the Google timer is just way too like, it's just, I don't want to call it anxiety because I don't have anxiety, but it just makes my heart race. It's too startling. That's what it is. So that's why I chose bird sounds. And Danny says, so figuring out what scenes to add things a lot harder than you thought it would be. Well, I'm sorry you're struggling, but also, I guess if I were to try to. When you say scenes to add, are you adding brand new scenes or are you. Yeah, I guess that's what. Let me know if that's what you mean because I do see. Okay, you followed up. Okay. 2 more scenes to add during that sprint, almost at the end of Act 1. Okay. So you're adding new material to a second draft in preparation for the third draft. Yes. That sounds difficult. I definitely had a lot of chapters hanging in my second and third drafts that were not doing anything. They were just there to like exist or be fun, and I cut them. I cut a lot of them. I cut an ice skating chapter. I cut a pottery wheel chapter. I cut like a beach day chapter. And it's unfortunate, but I couldn't have a 90K book that was full of scenes that didn't do much for the plot, which is unfortunate because they were so fun, but like, I don't know. I've since reintroduced the ice skating scene, and now it has plot value, so that's good. But it's so difficult to have a scene do what you want, but also be fun to read. Does that make sense? Like, there's a lot of fun in games in the midpoint, but at a certain point in the plot, you can't just be doing things to do them. They have to also mean something, and that's such a tricky balance to achieve when you're writing anything but the first draft, honestly. And I hope it settles soon for you, Danny. I hope you figure it out. And your draft 2 was literally nothing but 5, the first 75% of the story. Oh, I relate to that so much, except I had it the other way where everything up to my midpoint, so like the 20, it's technically in chapter 29, is where the midpoint is. Everything up to there has been solid and like locked down for a good while, but the second half of the book has been so dynamic, so fickle between like all of these drafts, because at one point I had like a 30 chapter beginning, like first half, and then an 11 chapter second half, and that's not so good. So, and also the chapters, here's what happened. So I had that 11 chapter second half, and then what I did in the next draft is I added in a bunch of scenes that didn't do anything, and then I had an even bigger problem because I was like, oh my god, there's so much here that's not doing anything. Like, I made it worse, and then I had to like really fix that in the third draft. It was so difficult because I overcompensated. The first draft was 70,000. Second one was almost 90,000 of like fixing the second half of the book. Third draft I think was like 80 or 85. Fourth draft was 82, and currently working on the fifth draft. And I think all the plot events that are in my book are finally the plot events that they need to be. Fingers crossed. So that's good. I mean, like, coming at it from a fifth draft perspective, like I want to tell you, Danny, that it's possible, and I did make it past all that. But it's, again, as I was saying, like the writing hill, mountain, the writing valley. Start here. First draft, second draft, third draft, fourth draft, fifth draft. So I hope you make it past the third draft. And maybe this is some new writing philosophy that I've discovered about myself simply by talking it out right now. It's really, an advantage of hosting a live stream is you get to figure out your own views about writing because you're rambling so much. But anyway, I think Lady Neo has filled me in on some of the fan fiction. Okay. So you got 3 fights going on in one chapter. Love it. The Dark Side of the Moon is a fanfiction.net. Yes. But like, is it part of I was asking if it's part of a certain fandom. That's what I was wondering. Yes, fanfiction.net. Yes. Okay. Everything's good. Everything's figured out. Okay. So what the heck did I do during that sprint? That's a good question. I was working on a little bit of catching up with my checklist and figuring out what the heck I got left to do. So last stream, if you missed it, I think it was during the last stream. It was like live, as a stream is. I figured out a checklist. I don't want to zoom in too close, so I don't really want you to read it. But like, this is all the specific nitpicky. Okay, chapter by chapter. Here's what I need to fix. And this was general comments. And then this was more like chapter specific comments. And I have quite a lot of these checked boxes checked off. We're on our way. We're on our way to to finishing. It is a good checklist, although to be honest, I don't use it while I'm writing. I literally opened it during the sprint, and I was like, okay, let me figure out what I've done and what I've left undone. So I was working on chapter 35, which is one of 7 chapters left. I have to like edit, although I know I'm not done editing, but I can explain that later. So I'm working on chapter 37. I want to say 75% of the way through that chapter. It's like a beefy chapter. It might be my longest chapter at 3,099 words. I'm probably going to add a few more by the time I get to the end of it. So it'll probably be like 3,100 something. But can I check my chapter statistics on Scrivener. I think I can, and it will show me. I don't wait. Ooh, statistics. Okay, can I find out what my longest chapter is? Oh, hold on. It definitely can. Okay, that is the longest chapter. It's at. Do you guys hear that beeping? Okay, now it's gone. Yes, the longest chapter is at 3,099 words. So that is my longest and beefiest chapter. Okay, and the fandom was Percy Jackson. No worries, everything is clear now. So yeah, working on chapter 35. I will definitely finish that in the next sprint, and then I will jump into 36. Oh, 36 is another long one though. It's 2,400, so we probably won't get through that the next sprint. But we're gonna have one more and then a random sprint. So we will see what the future holds for us. In the meantime, I think it's time to jump into the third sprint if we have no concerns with that. So yes, let me pull up this timer reminder that the sound is a bird tweet. So don't freak out in 25 minutes when you are startled by birds tweeting in autumn. Everything's fine. Okay, let's have 25 more minutes of writing in 3, 2, 1. Happy writing. Unfortunately, I was caught right at the end of the next chapter I was editing. But that is the end of our third sprint. Don't worry, we got one more coming up. And let me know how that went for you guys. Let's make that timer go away. Let me know if you were scared by the birds this time. Danny responded to my inside knowledge. So in their book, there's a scene where the main characters get breakfast together late in the book, and every time you get to work on it, you get so hungry. Well, tell me what they're eating. I want to suffer too. I was currently working on a scene with a salted pretzel in it, and I just have such a strong urge for a salted pretzel right now. It's actually the ice skating chapter I was talking about earlier, and just there are bad salted pretzels, and then there are good salted pretzels, and the last one I had was a bad one, so I feel like my want has only increased over time. So yeah, I was working on chapter 36. I have 166 more words to go through, so like just a couple little paragraphs. So I'm almost done with chapter 36. So close to having 6 chapters left to edit. Although it's not really ever going to be done editing, I guess. I can talk about that more in a second. But Danny ended up editing 5 chapters. Wait, have you been planning 5 chapters, or you literally wrote 5 chapters during that sprint? I think you mean planning, because if you did write 5 chapters, that would be particularly impressive. Not saying you can't do that, but I couldn't do that in 25 minutes. What was I talking about? Yes, I was talking about the editing process. So as far as Seaside is concerned, I'm currently working on the 5th draft. It's probably going to be perpetually in the 5th draft. I don't think I'm going to make another Scrivener document. It doesn't need another Scrivener document. It's not changing enough to warrant a 6th draft, which is good, but also confusing because I can't really mark the points where I'm switching between, okay, now we're in line editing phase, or now we're in copy editing phase. It's in flux. It's amorphous. Amorphous? It's fluid. Okay, yeah, so Danny was planning, not actually drafting 5 index cards in the stack. It's still a worthy bit of progress to get done in only 25 minutes. It's pretty good. So after I'm done with this pass, we're going to call it a pass. After I'm done with this pass of the 5th draft, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be reading it again, checking for things that need to be changed again, and I'll probably have another checklist, another bit of notes, because sometimes making small changes can have a domino effect on other scenes. Sometimes they're not big domino effects. Sometimes you only change a name and you realize it's different and you're like, now I need to fix that. But you sort of need to these are things you need to pay attention to. So after I finish this pass, we're going to do another read-through pass. And then, I don't know, I'll do line and copy editing at some point. I'm really just doing it whenever I see something that needs to be changed. I also find I don't have much stamina for line editing. Like, I might do it well for like a couple chapters, then I just like my eyes kind of glaze over because I've read it so many times and I'm just not really changing things. And I don't know, maybe I need a better system as to how to line edit. I need to maybe read my story backwards, out of order. I don't know. I'll think about it. I'm supposed to be writing an article about line editing to come out for Juven Press this weekend. It's due on Sunday. So I'm going to have something to say about it by then. Maybe I should have been working on that article for this stream, but I'm not, so I'll get it done over the weekend. Don't worry. For those of you who don't know, I write for Juven Press. It's an organization aimed at young writers, part of the Young Writers Initiative. And I've been writing articles for them for 1 year and 9 months. And I only know that because LinkedIn tells me how long I've had a job for. But yeah, I've written many articles. For September, I did retelling articles, and that was fun. Denny's breakfast scene takes place at an autumn festival, so it's all autumnal themed pancakes, French toast, and hot chocolate. But in the new draft, it'd be winter instead of autumn, so stuff will change. See, I'm not really. I think I crave salty food more than sweet food. Or maybe I just really want a salted pretzel right now. But pancakes, French toast, and hot chocolate all feel sweet to me, and they're not really just I don't want that right now, but sometimes. I made a pumpkin chocolate chip pound cake last week. It was so good. I really want to make a chocolate one now. So I'll probably also make that maybe this weekend. We will see. And Danny, to answer your question, I am planning to query this book. My goal is to be done with Seaside by the end of this year, and that means writing a synopsis, writing a query letter. Maybe it means querying by the end of this year. It really depends on how much I get done in November and how much December hurts me in terms of assignments and stuff. I'm in grad school, so I have a lot of things going on. I'm taking arguably way too many classes right now, but you don't need to hear about all my problems. Short answer is yes, I'm trying to trad pub this book. Manifesting. It's gonna work. It's so subjective. I don't know. I don't need to dump trad pub worries on this stream right now, but I do not feel like self-publishing right now. I feel like that would be a lot of work, and also I don't really have the time to self-publish a book. It takes a lot of effort to be your own advocate. Not saying that work isn't needed for traditional published authors, but I don't have that bandwidth right now, and also my Instagram / YouTube aren't really big, so I don't know how much of a marketing effect it would have if I tried to self-publish. I want to trad pub because I want the professional guidance and also the wide distribution aspect, and also kind of the vanity thing. I want my name on a book, and I want, I don't know, someone to go into Barnes & Noble and be like, that's the one. Oh, I'm tearing up right now about it, but that's what I want. Thank you, Danny. Oh, interesting. You want nothing to do with querying. Why? Is it the rejection aspect, or just the process of querying and the time investment? Because to me, self-publishing is a beast, and that is so much work. So I'm interested in your perspective, why you feel self-publishing is the way to go, or if you're not publishing, because that's also an option. Just because you write something does not mean you need to publish it. But yeah, is it? I know some genres do better in self-publishing, and you can release books much quicker if you were self-publishing. I don't know. Anyone else have thoughts about trad pub or self-pub, pros and cons, or your own reasoning for your decision about that? In the meantime, I'm going to work on this randomization of the 4th sprint. For those of you who don't know, for everyone who's new here, I have a card collection. It is, I think, almost 10 decks of cards, and I use these cards to decide how long our final sprint is going to be. I've opened a different one up on every stream I've had for the past few months when I decided to do this. I used to make all sprints randomized, but I felt like that was a bit too unpredictable because I ended up having 2-minute sprints, and that's not really, I mean, it's cool for like a gimmick when it happens once, but if it happens on multiple streams in a row, then I'd like to prevent that from happening. So today's card deck, we are picking chess memory cards. They are chess openings. Have I studied them? No, but they're cool, aren't they? I do play chess, and I was really into the Queen's Gambit when it came out. I'm not bad at chess. I'm trying not to I'm trying to justify my liking of chess. I'm not a fake fan. I actually do like chess. Don't worry, I'm not cutting this box open. If you have nails, painted nails, you stick the scissor blade in the box tab, and then it just pops open. Little life hack if anyone needs to open a tight box. But yes, thank you guys for responding to the question I asked. I see your responses, and I will get to them shortly. But I'm trying to see if I've shuffled. Ooh, this deck is not shuffled at all. So we have some time to talk while I shuffle these cards. Okay, and Lady Neo is in the midst of the last fight they are writing for the scene. Very good. Okay, Danny's thoughts. It's a little bit of rejection for the hesitant for the trad pup, but also wanting to have total control over the work. That's valid. It's very valid. I don't know, I feel like maybe I'm naive, but I feel like I have full creative control over my work, and that I guess somehow I feel like if I can write the quote unquote perfect book, and it's really good and awesome, nothing about the book will need to be changed, and I will maintain control over the project, it still feels like something attainable to me. I don't know, maybe I'm being naive. But in terms of timeline and distribution and cover design and font, yes, I probably don't have that kind of control over my book. I don't have a ability to control the release date. I wouldn't have the ability to control what goes on the cover unless the publishing house I'm working with is very cool with that and into their author's input. I would like to have input, but it's not guaranteed. Oh, you literally said cover and release date. I should have looked. I didn't read further. But yeah. And Bailey feels like, I don't think I've seen you here in this sprint tier before, but hi Bailey. And if I have seen you on this sprint tier today before, oops. And they feel like traditional always seemed like the better way to go when you can't afford to do all the formatting, covers, and general upfront costs self-publishing teams to take. I am also in agreement with this. I'm in grad school. I do not really have a full-time job right now. I do make a little bit of money because I'm in graduate school, but not I don't know. It just seems like extra financial stress that I don't want to go through right now. But yeah, if you're I don't know, I'm 22, and if you are, I don't know, 20, 25, 26, 28, and you have a job, and you got that money, that makes sense. That makes sense to do self-publishing. But right now it doesn't make sense for me in my financial situation. And I'm not afraid to talk about that because honestly, I feel like it's a stigma that should not be a stigma. Danny says there's definitely pros and cons to both traditional and self-publishing. At the end of the day, it just comes down to personal preference and which way to go. Yeah, I feel like we shouldn't try to judge people on which way they go, and also don't try to crush anyone's dreams either. I'm not accusing anyone of doing that here today, but I've seen that on the internet, people being like, you'll never make it, or like self-publishing like is where books go to die, and I'm just like, oh, that makes me so bad, because I think there's enough space for every author who wants to have their work out there, no matter if it's through something free like Wattpad or fanfiction.net, or through an actual physical book in a bookstore. Like there's room for everyone, and there's ways for everyone to thrive and get their work out there. Yes, I did think you were brand new. Hello, Bailey. You've been jumping into random writing sprint live stream this month. Well, I hope that this stream has been helpful for you, or will be helpful for you, because we are going to have a final sprint here, and it is going to be a random number of minutes based on this deck of cards. So this is a chess deck of cards. I've been shuffling for the past few minutes. It's like kind of it's like kind of shuffled. Like the suits are a bit. Ooh, that wasn't really mixed, was it? Maybe I'll shuffle a little more. But can I do a poll on StreamYard? I don't know. I don't think I can. But like, if anyone has an opinion, we can either do 2 cards, 3 cards, or 4 cards, and that would mean a maximum of 1639, or is it 52 minutes? That would be the maximum for the number of minutes. And Danny's gonna hop out now. That is fine. Thank you for being here, Danny. I hope you had a good time, and good job on your outlining today. And yeah. So if you're still here in the chat, 2, 3, or 4 cards. I normally, when I pull 2 cards, I get around 11 minutes. When I pull 3 cards, I get like 17. And when I pull 4 cards, it'll be like somewhere above 20. It's not normally like a huge number. So I'm just telling you how probability works. Could be 4 kings, but that's not probable. Could be. It's all about RNG, baby. Okay, Lady Neo says 4 cards. So if no one else has anything else to say, I'll give you another like minute. We'll start the sprint at 3:55. In the meantime, I'm good. Oh, is that a rules card? We don't need that in there. Was it a rules card? Yeah, okay. The Joker, if you're wondering, is an openings card. Which is interesting. I'm unsure how to use this deck really. Like some of these cards don't make much sense to me, because I play chess like twice a month. I don't play it that often, but I did watch the Queen's Gambit, so I know somewhat of what I'm talking about. And speaking of Queen's Gambit, that's the King's Gambit, apparently, but don't expect to be studying any chess on this stream. So, no one has brooked any argument. So we're going to have a 4-card pull. Are you prepared? Are you ready? Okay, so you will see the card first. Let's pull 4 cards, baby. 4 minutes. This is Alekine's Defense. That's what it looks like. This might be a 5 if I haven't shuffled right. Oh, it's not a 5. Another 4 minutes. If you can do this math right now, anyone, that would be helpful. Oh, this is called Birds? Oh, what? I guess that's the name of probably a chess player, and not because it looks like a bird, but that's what that one looks like. So we're up to 8 minutes now. A 3. That one was not shuffled right, but it's fine. So this is Nimzovich Larsen's attack. But it's just like one pawn moved up over there, so like I don't really know why. You know what? Let's pull from the middle. Try to get a higher number. Face card. No, it wasn't a face card at all. It was a 2. And this is another guy. Like the same guy. Nimzovich defense. So I guess this is what he did in response? I don't know. It's a bit confusing. I've never used this chess deck before. But here we go. Here are the minutes. That looks like 13. We're going to have a 13-minute sprint. I apologize for how short it is, but be glad it's not 47 minutes like I had one time. That is all I have to say about that. So we're going to have a nice 13-minute sprint. Imagine if we only pulled 2 cards or 3 cards. It would have been even shorter. So really, this was the best outcome for everybody. Thank you guys for playing along. We're going to have a 13-minute sprint. Let me go ahead and set this up. I think I have a banner. Yes, I do. Okay, let me present my screen and reset this timer. I wish you all some nice productivity as we wrap up this stream. 13 more minutes, y'all. We can do it. Oh gosh. Oh, how do I get rid of this bot? Oh wait, I can block them. Okay. I apologize if any of you saw that, and if more come up during the sprint, I guess I'll pay attention and I'll keep them out. Okay, where was I? Yes, we're doing a sprint now. Okay. Happy productivity in 3, 2, 1. Let's do this. Okay, friends, that was the end of the fourth and final sprint of today. Thank you guys so much for being here and sticking it out and writing with me. Let me know what you guys got done during that sprint while I pull up my face for you to see. Let me put on the right banner actually. Yes, there, that one. That one's cute. Okay, so I finished. Oh, I think I was editing chapters 36 and 37. I got through both of those and I've started working on chapter 39. And I had a brainwave for like the end of like something to add to the end of this chapter. So I'm gonna let it sit because it might not fit with the flow of the events, but we will see what happens. This chapter ending was already unfinished, so I might just follow my heart and do that. But yeah, I'm glad you ended right at the last part of your chapter 7. That was good timing. See, it was good that we had a 13-minute sprint. It all worked out in the end. Yes, it is. It's so dark outside, and it's only 4:13. This is cruel and unusual. But anyway, I had a really productive stream today. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you are currently doing NaNoWriMo, I wish you all like the best in your at your projects, and I hope it's going well for you. And if you're watching the replay, I also hope the stream was good for you as well. Bailey got like 300 words-ish done. That's great. And you're welcome for these sprints. I host on Fridays in the afternoon. Sometimes it's 2 p.m., sometimes 3, 4. It just depends on the time that I have work for the day. But yeah, awesome job. Bye, Lady Neo. See you next time. But yes, I host on Fridays. The only way to know. Oh, you know what? I have a community tab now. I really should have introduced this stream on there, but I do have one, so I can announce them there now. I totally forgot I could do that, but I can now. Otherwise, if you subscribe, they will show up in your subscription box. You know how YouTube works. Use the notification, and then you'll be double sure of when they will show up. But here on this channel, I make all types of writing and bookish content. Currently writing Seaside, trying to be done by the end of this year. It's a toss-up. I might do it, but you know, if you want to find out, subscribe to this channel. And remember to like the stream if you are here, because that shows YouTube that this is a good stream. Okay, I think that is all I have to say for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I'm gonna hop off now, and thanks for joining me. Bye.